if you're down at the end of the road and you go, man, just tell me what it's going to cost to get here, you'll run power to them. You know. This telecom broadband thing is a different animal because the property owner and the real, even the tones that you're trying to flex your muscles and get together to make this thing happen. And it just seems like something that's very difficult to move forward, even if you're willing to pay outrageous price in a remote area to get a fiber optic cable. You have a hard time doing that.
It's really difficult.
What's the biggest problem is from a legislative standpoint, do we need to have changes in our policy or statutes to make this more attractable to the internet companies to make this infrastructure change? Where are we at with that? I mean, how are surrounding states in Wisconsin, Iowa, the Dakotas? What do they do?
Well, what you're seeing some states doing, again, I don't, if we want to get into a policy discussion, we sure can do that. But you are seeing some states, address some of their antiquated telecommunications laws. In Minnesota, some of our telecom laws are 100 years old on the books. And I don't know if we've had a concerted effort to really take a look at those laws and say, does this address issues of the 21st century? And so I think that the governor has framed this coming session as an unsession, and we have different interpretations of what that means, but I think one of that is getting rid of stuff that's on the books that just doesn't make sense anymore. And I think you can take that discussion a lot of different ways, but I think there's certainly some cases of laws related to telecommunications that just don't, they're not up to par with the needs of the 21st century. You also see a number of states talk about having a larger role in providing funding for getting that last mile or getting out to those unserved or underserved areas. And the federal government did something, with the BTOP and BIP programs that some of you are very much aware of in the last several years. A number of states have revolving funds where that's a continuing thing happening. Looking into that, I don't know if that's where we go, but I mean that's something that's been done elsewhere. And I know that, I look at this issue, one thing is, we bond for so much infrastructure in Minnesota, roads and bridges, sewer and water. My personal view is that telecommunications infrastructure is just as important as that. And I think you can make analogies to rural electrification, and this is a different era, but nonetheless, I think the importance is the same. If you're really going to connect, take part in that 21st century economy, and also, be able to live where you grew up and expect that your kids can stay there too. I think that there's that expectation that you have that connectivity or a basic level thereof. So the question is, what can you do about it? We're living in an environment of scarce resources, but the more I look at this issue and the more I talk to folks, I think that there's a real interest in having that conversation at the state level, and I think that it's overdue. And I think a lot of the policy that's on our books just has not been vetted, has not been thought of in a long time. And so I don't want to jump the gun here. I really am very interested in what people have to say, but I'm convinced that there's a discussion that needs to take place. It's just a matter of where we're going and to what extent the state should be a partner in providing clarity under law, or maybe helping our good providers get to areas that just doesn't make sense with a return on investment where they have scarce resources too. So I think that I look at this really under a constructive lens. I mean, we all can benefit if we have a good conversation. We're all at the table, bringing our viewpoints together. It's just a matter of kind of putting our thumbs in where are the real pressing needs and where do we focus our attention next. So I don't want to have these series of conversations and just say, all right, we took some great notes and that's it. We really want to identify themes, actionable, next steps, and do something about it that really can benefit everybody. And at the end of the day, I've heard from communities with some great initiatives underway now, but they're getting bogged down because they don't necessarily know what the law means in this case or that case, and they don't necessarily have the confidence to take that next step. And I think what I'd like to do is be able to give local communities a chance to take that step and to